Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Smoke rises on the horizon. A fire rages somewhere in the heart of the forest. From the height of a fire tower, you command the efforts to defend your tower and take down your opponents. With each turn, the inferno grows. Harness the power of the wind to push the blaze towards the other towers. Clear tracts of land to fortify your tower. Hinder the plans of your opponents with torrents of water.
Did that sound familiar, you guys? It didn't to me neither. But this is a story of Fire Tower, a new game currently on Kickstarter. And tonight we're lucky enough to have on the creators and masterminds behind this great game. Is that correct? Is that how you guys fit into line with Fire Tower, Gwen, and Sam?
We're the masterminds.
Yeah, you're the masterminds. Yeah, the only minds behind the game. Yeah, the two co-designers.
Well, there you go. There you go. Do you have to use the word co so you both get equal credit, or how's that work?
Yeah, we say co-designers. That's right.
Yeah, I think we've done every bit of the process together, every decision. So yeah, it's been pretty much split right down the middle.
Well, there you go. There you go. Well, before we get too far into that, let's rewind a little bit if we could. We don't have to go back too far, of course, unless you guys were born into tabletop board gaming. But how did you guys get started into tabletop board gaming?
Ever since I was a little kid, I've been making up games. And I always wanted to be a board game designer, but didn't even know it was a possibility until a few years ago. And found out about all the new games that were coming out, the whole indie board game scene. And that was that for me.
So you always wanted to make them, but did you start playing them or you just made them? That's all you ever did?
Oh, no, I always played them too. I grew up playing casino and cribbage with my grandfather, mostly card games, and then learned Carcassonne and those types of games, and then I was just sold for life.
Awesome. What about yourself, Sam?
You know, I started out pretty young. I mean, as a lot of people did with the little roll and move games when you're a kid, but I got bored of those pretty quick and then wanted to kind of engineer my own and would make my own on paper. And Spaces was like little special things where you'd have to duel other people or monsters and roll dice. And then naturally that kind of progressed into Magic the Gathering. I played Magic for many years, still have my collection. And from that, I guess I morphed into Axis and Allies and Settlers of Catan. So it's been a long process for me, kind of evolving through the gaming enthusiasm or addiction, I guess.
Awesome. So you don't believe in roll and moves like Monopoly anymore, I guess?
Not so much. I mean, if I didn't have to play it, it wouldn't be bad. But I mean, there's still some fun to it. And some people, I don't know, they're a good gateway for a lot of people. Just after a while, you kind of have seen everything of rolling the die and just having fate direct you to a certain space.
For sure. Have either of you tried the new, either of the new Monopoly gamers with Mario Brothers and whatnot?
I
haven't got a chance to try that yet. I've seen a lot of people like hoisting it up in the air in Facebook photos to say that they've grabbed it, but I haven't really looked into it.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I know when the first one came out, just a regular Monopoly gamer, we got that one. We previewed or reviewed that on the podcast a while back ago, and we've yet to get it to the table. But as soon as I saw the Unfiltered Gamer, he posted some of them about the. I don't even know if it has a different name or not, but then Monopoly Gamer, which is Mario Kart, we had to make sure we got that one because we're a big fan of Mario Brothers or whatnot. We've yet to preview that yet. We've played it a couple times. We haven't got through the game fully or whatnot, just due to bedtimes and whatnot, but it seemed pretty fun too.
Oh, sounds good.
That's cool. I'm definitely a Mario Kart enthusiast as well. How did it function for you? Did you find it like actually interesting? Like there was more choice and control?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The what do you call it? When you go past go, you instead of with the initial one, the Mario Gamer, there's a battle where you have to pay in and fight the different bosses or whatnot, and they have different powers or whatnot. But in this Monopoly, the Mario Kart one, so you go past go and then roll the dice, and then you're racing. Whoever gets the highest dice wins the race or whatnot, and you get points that way. But then it also employs the different abilities or whatnot, the different things. Like I think there's a green shell as well as I don't remember the purple shell that you can throw. It just depends on who you are or whatnot. If it hits the person in front of you, or you can, I think if you're Princess Peach, you can pick 2 players to have it hit or whatnot. And then there's a couple other powers that you can use from Mario Kart.
Oh, so definitely more involved.
For sure. The one I'm still waiting for, which I doubt I'm really going to get, is just like they had Pokemon Go. I'm waiting for Mario Kart Go to come.
Oh, yeah. That would be amazing.
But yeah, I think that might be a little bit too dangerous. I know when
No kidding.
Pokemon Go was starting to get around, they always on the, the billboards. Well, I don't know if they're billboard signs. They're like highway signs that tell you different. They have cool phrases or whatnot. They told us to be careful and not play Pokemon Go where we're driving. So I imagine that wouldn't work out too well.
Yeah, that could be bad, trying to snatch a Pokemon off your dashboard. I could imagine that you could careen right off the road.
For sure. But yeah, I would like to play Mario Kart Go. I could handle that, but I don't know about Pokemon.
Need a big open field for that or something.
For sure. So minus Fire Tower, because if I let you guys pick that, my audience might have me drug out in the street and hung, or maybe they would burn me alive or something. But so minus that, do you guys currently have favorite games? And if so, what are they?
Oh man, we've been learning so many new games lately that I love. But one that comes to mind is I played Skull King for the first time at a game night a couple weeks ago, and I really liked it. It's a trick-taking card game, and I grew up playing a lot of bridge and spades and those types of card games. So it's a really interesting take on that type of game.
Okay. Let's see. Is that a trick taking or whatnot? Is that like where you put certain cards down to pick up more cards? Not necessarily a deck builder, but something similar, kind of.
Yeah, it's sort of like that. So with trick taking, it means that everybody puts a card into the middle of the table, and there's somebody who wins. Usually, it's the highest card of a suit. In Skull King, there's these pirates that either win or automatically lose, and you're betting how many tricks, which is, piles basically that you take, that you can win. So you have to bet accurately. So rather than trying to win them all, you're actually trying to lose some of them, win some of them, etc. It's really fun. Definitely very thinky.
Okay, they're awesome. So I don't know if it was a trick-taking game or not, but it sounds more like it. I never really knew what the mechanic was, but when my wife and I kind of started getting into the gaming, she was more into it at first, but we play this game. It's called Parade. It's like...
Oh, I love Parade.
Got the Alice in Wonderland card art, but you put down a certain card, and then depending on... I don't know exactly how to describe it, but you put down a card, and depending on how many numbers ahead or whatnot, or different same suit or whatnot, you would take those cards or whatnot. And so that sounds similar to that kind of.
Yeah, Parade is a really cool game. I just played that for the first time recently, too.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, we love it. I think she usually beats me, but it's been a while since we got into the table. So what about yourself, Sam? Do you have a favorite game besides Fire Tower? Because once again, I don't want to be taken out and burned alive, or they won't be able to have any more podcasts like this.
I don't know. I still really do have a hankering for Dominion. I still really like it. Everyone else, I think I take it too seriously, so no one really wants to play with me anymore. I might play it a little too brutally, and I like to add more cards where there's more interaction and more ability to stymie someone else. So I'm still into that, but I've been playing a lot of Five Tribes recently as well.
What's that? In case somebody I know I haven't heard of it, but what can you tell us about Five Tribes, Sam?
It's got a cool mechanic where there's like different piles of meeples on the board, and they're different colors, and you can pick them up. And actually, you take a pile and then you move, and you have to end on another pile, on a tile that has other meeples. And if you match the colors, it enacts like certain abilities between them. So it's cool. So you're kind of like planning out and mapping out the way you can move. So it's kind of got like in a weird way like a Mancala feel, where you're like you're seeing that there's a pile of something and then figuring out where you can move it in the most optimal space to get it to land.
Interesting. So what kind of mechanic is that or whatnot?
I don't know what that would be
Yeah,
called.
I don't know
right?
exactly what that's called, but it's it's pretty interesting.
Cool. I know I've heard of Dominion. I have yet to play that, but I'm really like those deck builders or whatnot. We played Star Realms and Hero Realms and Cthulhu Realms. I'd say Cthulhu Realms out of the three is my favorite, but it's kind of hard to get to the table as the iconography is a little bit intimidating, I guess. Have you played any of those, Sam?
I really like
We played a lot of Star Realms, actually. I like Star Realms a lot. It's nice drawing from the mutual pile in the center is a really nice addition. Whereas, Dominion feels a lot of times more like you're all playing solitaire together. That one, I'm more invested in what the other person is doing on each turn.
We actually learned Star Realms and Hero Realms because we were sitting next to the Star Realms and Hero Realms booth at a convention. So if there was any downtime, we tried to like quickly play around, and then we'd be halfway through and people would come up, and then we try to finish it later. But it was really fun, and we both got a copy.
Yeah, that's when we picked up our copies right then.
Well, there you go. Wait, was that recently?
It was about
it was at TotalCon
February 2017.
But it wasn't this last TotalCon. It was the one from the year before.
Okay, so they probably hadn't had Sorcerer, their latest game out, had they?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think Hero Realms was fairly new at that point. Not 100% sure. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So you guys went from, what do you call it, deck builders or trick takers to make something, what it looks like or appears like, to make something completely different. Am I far off in saying that?
No, not at all. This is completely different.
Fire Tower, it's a 2 to 4 player competitive forest firefighting game, and most firefighting games have some cooperative element where you're like working together to beat back the flames and contain the chaos. But in Fire Tower, your only objectives are 1, to defend your own tower, and 2, to spread the flames towards your opponent. And there's various ways to do that, like harnessing the power of the wind and using different. All the cards in the game have different patterns that allow you to add patterns to the grid of the board. And there's patterns of water and fire and areas of fire breaks, which are defenses. So it's all about figuring out how to position the patterns in the most optimal way and how to use them to defend your own tower and to hopefully get the fire into your opponent's tower and take them down.
Awesome. So I guess it's different than like per se. I guess it was Smokey Bear that said only you can prevent forest fires.
Yeah, it's more like only you can redirect forest fires is what someone gave us that quote at a convention.
Okay, I was going to ask if there was a catchphrase, but I guess you got it now. Only you can redirect forest fires, you said?
That's not our official catchphrase is fight fire with fire on the box, but we really thought that one was funny ever since we heard it.
Oh, well, there you go. So that's not on the box, or it's going to be on the box now?
Fight fire with fire, yeah, that's on the box now.
Okay, so that one, okay, awesome. So that's awesome. So yeah, because I played, I don't know if you've heard of it, but the game Eruption from Stratus Games.
No, I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, it's more of a volcano game where the volcano is erupted or whatnot, and lava's coming down the mountain or the volcano, I guess, in this sense, and you're trying to get it to go to the other villages and leave yours alone.
Really? That sounds great.
That sounds like a fun game.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. He's since moved, but it's the creator used to be in my local church congregation. He actually is the one that runs. I don't know if you've heard of Casual Game. What is it? The Casual Game Revolution or whatnot.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's actually the creator of that, and he used to live in my church congregation, and so yeah, so that's pretty cool. It's a pretty fun game, but yeah, this one looks pretty cool. So what kind of mechanics are used in it? I know you said you harvested power of wind and fight fire with fire, but so per se, we were to sit down to play Fire Tower. How would that look? I mean, how would that sound? This is a podcast after all.
So setup takes virtually no time at all. You basically just take all the pieces out and deal a bucket card to each player, and then you roll the die to determine the wind direction. So say the wind is headed to the west, every single turn at the beginning of your turn, the player is going to place one fire gem to the west of fire on the board. So spreading the fire to the west. And the only way to change that is with a card from your hand of 5 action cards. So after you place the fire gem in the wind direction, you get to play one of your 5 action cards, and there's wind cards to change the wind direction, fire cards that allow you to spread the fire in the pattern shown on the card. So we couldn't find a game mechanic that described that, so we call it strategic pattern laying. But basically, the idea is that there's a pattern, say it's a line of 3 that you can place that has to connect to fire on the board to spread the fire that way. And then you've got water cards that allow you to extinguish fire on the board, and fire break cards that allow you to place purple fire break tokens. Fire breaks are areas devoid of vegetation that the fire cannot pass on or through. So you place those and create barriers around your tower to try to protect yourself while you go after your opponents at the same time.
Okay.
And one of the other main mechanics too, there's one card in the deck called the Firestorm that comes up once per deck cycle, and as soon as you draw it, it takes effect immediately, and you have to roll the wind die, and whatever direction it lands, every fire on the board at that point will expand 1 space in that direction. So even the personality of the game is always forcing the momentum forward, even if people are kind of trying to hang back and play defensive. Like, the fire is just always growing larger and becoming more uncontrollable.
Okay, and I was going to ask, so the fire, it's always going? There's no way to put it out completely?
No, you can't really, there's no way to put it out, because at the beginning of every player's turn, they're always expanding the fire.
Yeah, so you can extinguish some of the fire gems from the board with water cards, but there's no way to put it out completely.
Yeah, you can slow it down, but you can never really stop it.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, that's pretty cool. It looks pretty fun. I know I watched, I want to say you guys hijacked the Vaughn Reynolds Instagram, who is, what is he? I am a social gamer or whatnot, to play the game.
Yeah, we did.
How did that go down?
Oh, I didn't know you were watching.
Well, yeah, I didn't know about it. He actually, funny story with that. I don't know if he probably doesn't care if you shared or whatnot, but for a little while there, because I know we were talking, me and him were talking to one another, and then all of a sudden, he went cold or whatnot. I don't know what happened to him or whatnot. And then a while back ago, right before, I don't know if you guys have seen the game, Dobbers Quest for the Key or whatnot.
Yeah, we have seen that. Yeah, on Kickstarter right now.
Yeah, so I guess he told them about my podcast or whatnot, but and he tried to contact me both through my Facebook page and also commenting on some posts in some groups or whatnot. But for some of the life of me, I couldn't see who it was or whatnot, and he thought I'd blocked him or whatnot. But it turns out I'd blocked him. He'd blocked me or whatnot. I don't know if maybe my political stuff or something I posted offended him. We never found out why or whatnot, but he found out. He thought I'd blocked him, but he turned out blocking me, and so we just recently reconnected or whatnot. And then he told me about you guys that was on there, so I went ahead and watched it. He's hoping he doesn't get banned from Instagram, so hopefully the creators or whatnot of that will never listen to this interview or whatnot. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I want to say you won, Gwen, or what happened with that?
Oh yeah, I won. I always win though.
Yeah, she beat me again. I was hoping that this time I would be able to avenge myself in the 2-player version of the game. But once again, Gwen took me down.
I think we have a playthrough on our site where Sam wins, so there's some evidence that it goes both ways.
Oh, yeah, just a little bit of evidence. Well, there you go. So is that a sweet spot? Is 2 players a sweet spot? Or you said it goes 2 to 4. Is there a sweet spot for how many players, or how's that look?
It kind of depends on what you're looking for. With 2 players, it's much more like heads up and reactive with another person, and more planning ahead and trying to circumvent your opponent and, think ahead of them and try, plan to dispatch them. Whereas when you play with 4 players, it's more chaotic and way more interactive, and the personalities are there, and there's just more chaos involved.
Of course, it's a more social game because 2 people have an alliance with the wind at any given point. So if the wind is headed to the west, there's always 2 people who are going to be affected by that in a 4-player game. So it plays really differently than 2 players. I like them both. Depending on my mood, I would rather play the 2-player game because I don't know, it's a different type of feel. And then 4 players is much more social. So yeah, they're both really fun. Of course, 3 players works great too. I would say it's somewhere in between those two.
Yeah, between the two. Yeah, I think Gwen's favorite is probably the 2-player version, where the 4 is for me is my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was about to comment on that because it sounds like there's more evidence out there of her winning the 2-player game at least.
Do as well with 4. Yeah, there's also we have a team variant, which is you sit diagonal from your partner and you're trying to burn down the other 2 towers of your opponents. And that's a really great variant too. I love playing that one. We don't get that to the table quite as much, but it's one of my favorites.
Okay, awesome. So if we were to sit down to play this or whatnot, what with the variants or whatnot, does it matter where you sit? Like if it's a 2-player game, do you sit diagonal or does it matter, or how's that go?
Yeah, diagonal. That's right.
Okay, diagonal. And then I was going to ask about the dice too. Is that like a D4 or whatever they call it? Because there's only like 4 directions of wind, isn't there?
Yeah, we actually chose to use a D8 because, we want the game to be accessible to non-gamers just as much as gamers. And we thought it would be a little bit easier to read, but also I'm just partial to the D8. I really love that.
It rolls better as well.
Yeah, it's true too. Lots of reasons for a D8.
Well, there you go. Does that have like a northwest and southwest and all that other stuff on it, or what directions are?
Yeah, the game.
Oh no, it doesn't have northwest. It has.
Only the cardinal directions.
Only the 4 directions. They're just all listed twice.
Okay, there you go. Awesome. So yeah, so it looks like a pretty cool game or whatnot. Especially, I'm thinking at least my 5-year-old would go crazy over what are they, flame gems, or what do you call those?
The fire gems?
Yeah, the fire gems are a blast.
Yeah, we're excited to have found that. It's like the best thing. We searched for a long time for a piece to represent fire, and that like really has the feel of it on the table, and the way, they're kind of semi-translucent, so the light goes through them and they kind of shimmer.
When we go to conventions, we bring a huge pile of the gems, as big as we can build up without having them spill over the table, which they always do. And there's always people who just come up like transfixed. They're only looking at the gems and they're like, what is this? So it's been really fun. We were really excited when we found that component.
Well, there you go. And I imagine people aren't necessarily doing that, but is there an option just to get the gems?
Unfortunately, no. You have to buy our game too.
Get the gems.
Well, there you go. So gems with a game included, I guess.
Exactly.
Well, there you go. Well, it looks like it's doing pretty good right out of the gate on Kickstarter. I want to say you guys funded relatively quickly. Am I correct?
Yeah, we funded it in under 2 hours, and we're completely blown away by the community of people we've met at various conventions who came out to support us, and people who just came across it on Kickstarter. And we couldn't be more thankful to everyone. It was beyond our wildest dreams of how well our first day could have gone.
So what did you do to ramp up to get it funded within 2 hours? I know it's not fully dependent on you as the creators or whatnot, but what kind of stuff did you do to get increase awareness or whatnot?
I think our main thing was really just meeting people face to face. I mean, neither Sam or I are people with a background in marketing. And so for us, the best way to show people the game was to just play it with them. So we went in the last, for over a year, we've been going to as many conventions as we could. Went to how many, like 15 conventions and countless game nights and as many events we could find just to play the game with people. And so I think, we've met a lot of great people who are really supportive. And when we launched the Kickstarter, they were there waiting to click the back button.
Yeah, that was really kind of uplifting and heartwarming. Some people said, I've been waiting 2 years for you guys to launch this game. And it was really exciting to us that, they were excited about that.
Yeah. And we just had the best time actually going to these conventions. I mean, it's just a blast playing your game that you designed with people and seeing the reactions on their faces when they burn their friend's tower down.
Awesome. So how did you decide when it was time to be done just doing the conventions and to actually hit the launch button or whatnot on the Kickstarters?
Oh man, I don't know. I think we postponed it for as long as we could. We were so nervous. But finally we decided, all right, we want the whole world to see this. Let's go forward and do it. It took a while to get ready, but
And now you haven't got any sleep since then, I guess?
Not too much. No, we haven't had too much sleep in the last few days.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So at the time of this recording, it's been on there? What did you go for 30 days, or it's been on there 3 or 4 days, I think?
yeah, we're on our fourth day today. So yeah, it's the end of our fourth day today, and we have 26 days to go.
There you go. Now, I don't know if it's happened for you guys, but a lot of times people talk about there being a lull in between like the first 48 hours and the last 48 hours. Has it slowed down at all, or is it still going crazy?
We definitely still got some good momentum, but yeah, there's definitely been a bit of a drop off, as tends to happen with campaigns. So yeah, things have slowed down a bit, but I don't know, we have a lot of other friends who have gone on to Kickstarter, and they all said to expect that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Now I don't think I asked, but was there inspiration in this? Like, did you both like worship Smokey the Bear when you were younger, or how did you come up with this game?
I mean, I think honestly, it's kind of funny. The theme kind of came later. The idea of the mechanic, we wanted to create a game where you were not only dealing with your opponents, but you also had to deal with the personality of the game at the same time, almost like you're fighting a two-front battle against the game and your friends around you. So we wanted something unrelenting that just kept growing and became more unmanageable. And eventually, we were actually on a walk in the woods, and we just came upon the idea of, that's what fire does. Fire is unpredictable, and fire is chaotic, and it is hard to manage.
So did you have to hightail it out of there? Was there a forest fire currently going on?
No, thankfully not.
The part of the story we never tell, yeah, is
That you were the cause of it?
we were actually running away from a fire. Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, I hope the forest rangers aren't listening now. There you go. Yeah, we don't want to get you in trouble, especially with this funding so well. We want to make sure that when the campaign's over, that you'll be able to go ahead and deliver. So per se, you guys don't end up in jail for that forest fire that you may or may not have started or whatnot. When I know you don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but when would they anticipate getting their game if they go ahead and back Fire Tower, especially if you don't end up? Yeah. I'm not going to say anymore, but.
I think we're safe for now. Yeah, we're thinking our estimated date is January 2019. We have everything ready to go. Of course, some of our stretch goals are going to need a little bit of planning, and we're going to get some new artwork made for those. But this is a pretty heavily play-tested game. I think that between Sam and I, we've probably played 2,000 games. So we're ready to go, ready to pull a trigger on everything. And January 2019 is our estimate, hopefully even sooner than that.
Well, there you go. That's awesome. So, yeah. So what would you say the proudest part of this fire tower is for each of you?
The thing that makes me the proudest is when we go to conventions, people often, when they come up, they kind of go, well, I can't quite put my finger on what this game feels like. Like, I can't think of the other game that this is. And I feel like, these mechanics feel kind of unique to me. Or like I've never had an experience quite like this with the game, and also with the theme being, a competitive fire game as well. So with, all the games on the market now, that's always been pretty flattering when people say that to us.
What about yourself, Gwen?
That Sam had a really good answer. I feel the same way about the mechanics. It's something that we've thought a really long time about. But also that we've really worked to come up with a game that gamers would enjoy, but also people who weren't as familiar with games. Or, we have a lot of friends and family who occasionally will sit down to a game, but they wouldn't call themselves gamers or game enthusiasts. So we wanted to create a game that got them excited to play more games, and this definitely has done that, and I'm incredibly proud of that.
Awesome. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And you talked about, I want to say, initially when we were talking, you guys talked about it being a new mechanic. I forget what you called it exactly, but...
Yeah, strategic pattern laying.
Oh, yeah, it's just what we came up to describe it, because, we didn't really know exactly what to call it.
There you go. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So I know you talked about going to a lot of cons and whatnot. So I imagine also there's probably a lot of play testing put into this. During that process, was there ever anything you guys had to scrap that just wouldn't work? Possibly having water involved or something like that?
The one thing we did have to change is initially the fire breaks. You could build them directly orthogonally adjacent to one another. So you could almost kind of build, you could build these like almost permanent barriers. So it would turn into this crazy like World War I era looking trench system, and you'd be like weaving your way through it. And it made the game go a bit longer than we intended it to. So we put in a rule that they can be placed diagonal, which always leaves spaces for the fire to move in between. But, they still are able to stop the fire for a moment and slow it down. But you can't make really a permanent barrier. So we had to depower the walls a bit. That was one thing that we definitely changed over time.
Awesome. Now, did you guys know each other before this, or how do you and Gwen know each other, Sam?
We've known each other for how long now?
Since 2007.
We've known each other since college, and we have been friends forever. And then we got together after college, and then we started designing a game.
Well, there you go. There you have it. That's all she wrote, I guess. Now, you guys sound kind of biased, so maybe that is the case, maybe not. But per se, somebody doesn't want to necessarily take you guys' word for it. Is there any other reviewers that maybe have previewed it that they could go ahead and check out what their thoughts are on Fire Tower?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If you go to our Kickstarter page, there's a whole list of reviews. Rob Pelagian from the Pawns Perspective and Stephen Deutschman from Engaged Family of Gaming, also Dan Cristelli, all wrote great written reviews. And then for video reviews, we've got The Cranky Old Gamer and The Chubby Meeple and Board Deck and Dice. So that's 6 reviews you can check out to see how you feel about the game.
Well, there you go. There you have it. And do you get real buckets?
We did have buckets in the beginning. We had I'm going to be hand making. I do some woodworking as well. So I'm going to be hand making buckets for some people. But that pledge level, I don't know. We didn't expect them to go that fast. But I set it at a level where it was feasible the number of buckets I could make.
Yeah, I see it limited to 100 backers. It looks like.
Yeah, 100 backers, and then the upper tiers beyond that also get buckets. So looks like Sam's going to be making buckets all summer long, and eventually we have to put a stop to the buckets.
All the buckets are grabbed up, I guess.
Yeah, we're there might be some other pledge levels that we're opening up for buckets in the future. That's still up for debate, but hoping to do something along those lines. People seem to like the buckets more than we expected, so we do wish that we could give every single backer buckets. It doesn't change the gameplay at all, though. It's just Sam's handiwork. He's a terrible woodworker anyway.
That's not true.
Just joking.
Oh, boy. Well, there you go. There you go. And it looks like, because like you said, you funded pretty quick. How are the stretch goals going?
Pretty well. We've already unlocked 6 stretch goals. We've got better quality components, thicker cards, linen finish on all the print materials, and then a few new cards that we're adding that that are going to be really fun, that I'm really looking forward to. We also added a weather vane card that shows the direction of the wind. That makes it easier. A lot of people had suggested that to us at conventions. And
we also added something that I'm really excited about, which we call the Tower Ablaze card. So when you actually finish someone off, we have a card that is the same size as the tower, that shows a tower engulfed in fire that you can actually lay over your opponent's tower. So it's like, the board is almost transforming as you play.
Well, there you go. That's pretty cool. And it looks like at the time of this recording, you're only if I did my math correctly, you're only about $169 away from the mutual aid stretch goal.
Yeah, that's right. We're getting really close to mutual aid. I'm really excited about that card. It works. It's an event card, so it works sort of similarly to the Firestorm. You play it as soon as it's drawn. And then everybody, the player who draws it gets to choose an action. Everybody else gets to take the same action. So there's some interesting decision making that comes up with that. Really looking forward to that card. Hopefully we get to the stretch goal.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I don't see why not. And then after that, there's one at 29K. Is that it, or do you have some hidden stretch goals that maybe we could have divulge a little bit of the dirt on?
We've got more in the works, but we're keeping our lips sealed for now.
Yeah, once we unlock Mutual Aid, I think we'll reveal the next one past the colored mixed marble D8, which we're pretty excited about too. Some people in the comments were asking if we, why didn't we have the color of the die be gray to more represent smoke and wind and whatnot. So we're actually going to have like a color of gray and white fused together in the D8, so it looks like swirling smoke.
Well, there you go. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And then it looks like you have some social goals too. What can you tell us about those?
We're just gonna not gonna reveal what that is, but we're gonna add another promo card to the to everyone's game if we get to unlocking those.
How are those going? The unlocking them of them.
We're doing pretty well. The tough one is Board Game Geek. I think we set a pretty high goal of 100 Board Game Geek fans. So for everybody who's interested in Fire Tower, if they want to go fan us on Board Game Geek, we'll get closer to that goal as well.
Well, there you go. There you go. And are you guys on any other podcast talking about Fire Tower?
Yes, we are going to be talking to We're Not Wizards next Thursday, and which I guess will be potentially immediately after or before this podcast.
So is that when he's releasing the episode? Because I want to say you guys already talked to him, didn't you?
Actually, we rescheduled. So we'll be talking to him next Thursday.
Oh boy. So if depending on when I get this out, I might be able to say you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I don't know if he feels the same way, but I try to have at least in my mind, I have a little bit of a rivalry going on with Richard. I don't know if he feels the same way, but I try to get stuff up before him.
That's hilarious. Before We're Not Wizards. Yeah, exactly. We also spoke to Guys, Games, and Beer on their podcast, and we're going to be talking to Engage Family Gaming as well. So we've got some podcasts up. Oh, and we also recently talked to the Cardboard Herald. We had a great talk with him as well. So lots of podcasts, actually. It's been really fun doing all these interviews.
Well, there you go. There you go. That's probably why you're not sleeping, I guess. Or
Very true.
Especially if any of them are keeping you up late like me. Yeah, we don't want to keep you all night, but we appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. A couple more questions for you, though. Mine is coming there to your hometown to stalk you. How would people go about finding out about you or more about Fire Tower or whatnot?
They could go to Runaway Parade on Facebook and check out our social media presence there, and we're always doing updates about what we're doing. Or they could go to our website at runawayparade.com to check it out as well.
Our Kickstarter page has a lot of information about us as well.
Yeah. The Kickstarter page too, would have that too.
Well, there you go. There you go. So that's awesome. Now, per se, somebody's fallen asleep. It wouldn't be because of you guys or this great game that's really blown it out of the water on the Kickstarters. It'd be because of me and my podcast. After a while, people get tired of hearing my voice. At the end of April, we've already released 70 episodes for the year, so they get a little bit tired of hearing about me. We're almost a year old. Middle of next month, we'll be a year old, and we already have 170 episodes out. And so they get a little tired of hearing me. But now they're suddenly jolted awake so they don't go into the blazing fire in Yellowstone or wherever they might be. And now you have their full attention. Why should they take a chance on Fire Tower, especially with all the other great games out there on the Kickstarters currently?
I think they'll find the mechanics refreshing. I think they'll find the theme refreshing. And it's just a whole lot of fun as well. It's really engaging. Visually, it is engaging on the table. It's the pieces are tactile and they're fun to hold and engage with. And pretty much, every convention we brought it to, people have just always said, I really enjoyed the experience. It was a lot of fun and it seemed very unique to me.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks really cool. So that's awesome. Yeah. What about yourself, Gwen? Do you have anything to add to that?
I think Sam pretty much covered it all. It's just a lot of fun. It's a great, fast game. It's one of our reviewers actually said, it's kind of perfect for that beginning of a game night feeling when you're trying to get into the mood to play games. It's like quick. You can play it in 15 to 30 minutes or you can just spend all night playing Fire Tower, which is what we generally do.
Well, there you go. There you go. And if somebody wants to take a chance on this, what is it going to put them back?
The base pledge level is $39 with free shipping in the U.S. and reasonable shipping to the rest of the world.
Okay, awesome. So $39.
Yeah,
Yep, that's right.
That with free shipping. Yeah, that's not bad. So that's awesome and cool. So yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll make sure we leave a link in the show notes or whatnot, so you can go ahead and take a chance on this game, or at least look at it and see the great new mechanics that they have out here, as well as all the fire gems, which I guess you get a game with if you want to get those gems. So yeah, that's cool. So it sounds like you guys have listened to the podcast a couple times here or there. So you probably know the next portion of our podcast is called The Adventures in Application Acquisition, where we talk about an app, be it for a cell phone, a tablet, a computer, or even a video game. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be related to tabletop board gaming or starting forest fires or trying to burn others' towers down. Is there an app you guys use a lot of that we can talk about for a moment?
Yeah. Well, Sam, do you have one? Or I
use the Agricola app a lot. It's just a lot of fun to be able to play Agricola so quickly. Also, be able to calculate the scores just by pressing a button to see where everyone is, and you can really get through a lot of games of it. I've definitely played more games on the app than I have on the table because it's not always easy to convince people to sit down for that amount of time. So I find a lot of enjoyment in that.
Okay, awesome. Is that a paid or a free app?
It's paid.
It's paid. I think it is paid. I can't remember. I've had it for a long time. I don't know how much it was, but it wasn't.
When we got it was like $5.
Yeah, it wasn't unreasonable.
Okay, awesome. So that's pretty cool. So if you own the rights to that app, Sam, what would be one thing you would do to make it better or fix it?
I think I would add a little variation to the soundtrack. It just keeps looping, and it's good music. But when you're playing it for hours on end, it starts to just kind of get stuck in your head like a pernicious earworm, and you can't really escape it. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe if there was just like an option to change up the music now and then. But I know that's a lot to ask for a game app.
Awesome. Well, I guess that, or turn the volume down, or play it less. That's a couple of ideas for me.
No, you have to play at full volume all the time.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah. So otherwise you don't get the same effect. So there you go. We try to make a green podcast around here. So if anybody that deals with the Agricola app, any kind of development or anything is listening, you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief, what Sam would do to make that a better app. Now, Gwen, this time we're not going to let you say that Sam already answered the question or did good enough. Is there an app you use a lot of that we can talk about for a moment?
Yeah, I love this app called Brain It On, and I don't even know if you can get it anymore, but I got really addicted to it. The idea is that you can draw a line, or you're trying to do something like get a ball into a cup, and you have to draw lines that then react to gravity on your phone. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's a really fun game that is tactile and really enjoyable.
Oh, okay. And it looks like it's on, just looking it up on the internet, it looks like it might be on iTunes and Android. Do you know if that's a paid or a free app?
It's free, but you only get a certain amount of levels for free, which took me a really long time to get through. So.
Oh, okay. So it takes a while, but then after you can buy more challenges or something, I imagine?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Interesting. So if you own the rights to Brain It On, what would be one thing you would do to fix it or make it better, Gwen?
I think honestly, I would make it easier at the beginning. It's so hard, the game. I love it so much, but as soon as you start, you have like 2 levels that you can do easily, and maybe I'm just bad with this type of thing, but by like the 3rd or 4th level, you're spending, half an hour trying to figure out one puzzle. But I love the game. It's great.
Well, there you go. There you go. So that's awesome. Now, I know we talked about some other apps or whatnot. We talked about Fire Tower. Is there any chance of seeing Fire Tower, the app?
A lot of people have actually mentioned it to us and said that it wouldn't be a difficult game to turn into an app. And I was talking to somebody who actually does a little bit of app development, and I said, well, why don't you do it? And he paused for a second. It's like, oh, maybe I could, but of course, that's a huge undertaking. We hope for Fire Tower, the app, one day.
Yeah, definitely something we'd like to work towards.
What is that, a 50,000 or a $1 million stretch goal? Or we don't know yet.
$1 million stretch goal. We'll say it right now. You heard it first.
There you go. You heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. Let's go ahead and make Fire Tower become an app. If we have what? I don't even know, want to do the math or whatnot, but 1 million divided by 39 or whatever.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, there you go. There you go. So that's awesome. Now, yeah, I know you guys, we got to let you get some sleep so you can go and I guess you got to go ahead and reveal some new stretch goals. Hopefully there'll be new ones up by the time people hear this, but we really want to thank you for coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief with us. It's been fun.
Hey, well, thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been great talking to you.
Nope.
It's time for Kickstarter Corner. To begin now.
You heard her right, ladies and gents. It's time for Kickstarter Corner. If you hang on until after we're done with the Kickstarter Corner, bringing you these great games, we'll go ahead and give you the second code word to our 8-game giveaway for people in the U.S. and 2 Amazon gift cards for people outside of the U.S. So buckle up and hold on to your pants so they don't fall off, or whatever you want to call it. Just hold on and listen to these great games that we're about to bring you on the Kickstarter Corner. So anyways, first off, we've got Forgotten Fight. It's a deck building card game. You need to make a team of 3 heroes to prove that you know the best combo. Yes, sirree, Bob. And let's see here. Yeah, so do that. And this is a great game. Either way, it's going to bring it to the world so we can play this great game. But I suggest you go ahead and check it out. They've got 55 days to go, going through the 26th of June. If you hang on till Friday, I believe, we will have his interview on with Martin. And then another great game that I really like and really believe in is CodeWorld, the miniatures game. Battle with dominoes in 3 dimensions in the cyberspace theme skirmish miniature game. Yeah, this is awesome, and I really like the miniatures that he has to choose from. One of them is even a group of emojis. So check that out. Go through and scroll through the page. It is an awesome game. You got cool 3D towers, all kinds of stuff, and it is backed by Gamer Leaf. Now, don't forget about Dobbers Quest for the Key. Yes, sirree, Bob. This one's from Daryl, and we had him on the show. It is a cool deck builder. And in this, it's a deck building game for 2 to 4 players, and you have an adventure going on, but the adventure isn't set out before you. You set it out with the cards that you choose to play. So definitely check out Dobbers Quest for the Key, RPG style deck building game going through the 18th of May. Definitely check that one out. And then we told you about this one, that they'd become a project we love on the Kickstarters. It's called No Escape. No Escape is a competitive maze building game, and it's a take that game as well for 2 to 8 players. Be the first one to get out because there's only one escape pod. Yes, sir, Bob. Going through the 17th of May. Definitely check that one out. Let's help this become a reality. And then, you've ever wondered what it's like to become the President of the United States? Or have your kids? I know when I was dreaming, and when kids dream, you want to become something big. In this, you can learn how an election is really won and how it goes down. It's called Election Night. Learn your way to the White House. It's a game night hit that teaches math, geography, and the civics of the Electrical College. Watch how much fun these kids have in the Kickstarter video. Definitely check this one out. They go through the 18th of May, so you want to get on that. Yes, sirree, Bob. And they got some cool things. This is good for kids to learn geography, Electrical College, as well as math. So definitely check that one out. And we had Jim on the show a while back ago. This one's drawn to an eye. It's an Atlas of the Horizons RPG. A tabletop role-playing game of daring adventure, focusing on unique characteristics as well as optimistic themes. No more of this everybody's gonna die, all this flattery. And Fantastic story. Definitely check this one out. They got about 10 days to go. Going through the 12th of May. Definitely get on that one. That looks pretty fun. And then this one is called Small Stars Empires 2nd Edition and 2 expansions. There's a solo mode as well as a 5 to 6 player expansion. They got 9 days to go. You build battle stations to gain power and play unique abilities and build research stations to gain minerals to research technologies. We're going to go ahead and have the creator of this on the show pretty soon here, right before they're going to be done with this campaign. So definitely check this out. And then we've also got The Exorcism at the House of Moncton Falls. Yes, sir, Bob. We had the creator on. Princess Leaf sat down and we interviewed the creator. It was a really fun interview with David, and they're getting really close to their goal. They're going for 11,500, and they're at 10,000, just over 10,000. And it's a 2 to 4 player game based on Scooby-Doo and stuff and Clue. It was awesome. It's a co-op worker movement set collecting game themed around the exorcism of ghosts that take up residence in a haunted house. Princess Leaf actually asked David if we can go ahead and review that. So we've got to get some other games reviewed before we can do that. Okay, people. Now we're going to talk a little bit about a new role-playing game and venture product today that is a 2-book set called The Book of Dark Secrets. Each of these 2 books will be over 200 pages long and have several short fill-in adventures that range in size from 5 to 12 pages or more in length. All of the adventures are self-contained and are designed to fill in for those times when an adventure ends sooner than expected. The campaign needs a little spice and flavor of the characters all die unexpectedly. So that's when you die or you need a little bit more spice. The first book, The Lost Tomes, will be a short 16 adventures. Well, it'll be short and have 16 adventures based on the 16 founding members of the secret society that fights to destroy evil. The second book, The Book of Dark Secrets, is bigger and has 20 to 26 short adventures, and also has an in-adventure with up to 100 NPCs and up to 40 pages of content. Both books are available in digital PDF formats, softcover printed books, and hardcover printed book options, including both books collected in a massive tome weighing in between 400 and 500 pages. Also, all of the adventures contained within are level flexible, meaning that all 36 plus adventures can be played by any PC between the levels 1 and 20. Yes, sir, Bob. Check it out at the links below or in my show notes for the Kickstarter. And I guess they're also on Indiegogo. You can search out the Book of Dark Secrets or just click our show notes. And one of the interesting things we have discovered is that the way that the creatures have made it possible for all these adventures to be for players between levels 1 and 20 is using shortened star blocks that are broken into 4 color-coded sections for each of the 2 game systems, those being D&D 5th edition as well as Pathfinder. All of the monster encounters can be found within the D&D rules, as well as the Pathfinder rules. These 4 options can be adhered to by the DM or GM simply by following the color coding which applies to these experience levels that your player characters. Let's say the PCs come across a description that reveals the enemy as a manacle witch. The game master would simply select the monster that is appropriate for the PC's experience levels. That ascending hierarchy would look something like, let's say, 1, a green hag, which has a CR of 4, and then number 2, a anus hag, which has a CR of 6, a blood hag, which has a CR of 8, number 4, a night hag that has a CR of 9. There's also optional add-ons to make many of the monster encounters even more challenging. The creators want to impart that no rules have been changed, just manipulated to allow the GM and the PCs to enjoy all 36 of these adventures. So go ahead and check out the Kickstarter or the Indiegogo and check on our show notes, and you can find out more about this awesome possum D&D 5th Adventure or Pathfinder, depending on what games you play. So definitely check that one out. And then I want to tell you guys about one that we just barely found out about. Shall I not? Well, I'm going to. Every third, no, let's see here. Sorry, just gotta scroll and find it really quick because it's a new one. Yes, sirree, Bob. I just saw this one launched yesterday, and man, does it look cool. If nothing else, definitely go watch their Kickstarter video. It's pretty cool, but it's called Clubhouse Defense Squad. It's a 1 to 6 player co-op deck building, tower defense, and strategy game where you defend your clubhouse from treacherous monsters. If nothing else, like I said, go ahead and watch the great Kickstarter video. You will love the video. The game looks really awesome too. So definitely check this one out. They're going through the 30th of May. So definitely check that one out. It is awesome. And I wanted to tell you about the D&D 5th edition Pathfinder and Adventure books that we were talking about. That goes through, they got 16 more days to go, going through the 18th of May. So definitely check these out. Check out all these great games there on the Kickstarters. And then you did it. You hung on through the Kickstarter Corner. Now, I guess I better tell you the second code word. Wait, did you know about the giveaway? You don't know about the giveaway? Well, you'll want to go ahead. We're kind of doing something like Wheel of Fortune with the codes, and we're getting everything up on the website so you can go ahead and make sure you can enter into the great giveaway. Remember, somebody in the U.S. will win 8 great games, so 1 lucky U.S. winner, and 2 outside of the U.S. will win 2 Amazon cards, $25 USD, and they'll win those. And what you can do to get more entries, plus we're still working on getting the Gleam for you. But in the meantime, you can go ahead and make sure you're going to fill out this code. We're going to give you the code words on the episodes. The first one, you'll want to go ahead and sign up for our mailing list so you can get that first code, because it's going to be a sentence, you know that? It's going to be a sentence, yes. It's kind of like Wheel of Fortune. If you don't know what that is, Google it. But anyways, the first one was given to you in an exclusive email from our website. Sign up at gamerleafgo.com, kind of like PokemonGo.com. Now that second code word, are you ready for it? Get your pen and paper. Wait, you probably don't have a pen and paper. Well, go ahead and pause and either text this into your phone or do something. Do something to remember that the second word that you want to enter, come back and enter, is discover. So you got the first one in the email. It was in an interview that I did with Jamie Stegmeyer of Stonemeyer Games. The second one is discover. So code word number 2 is discover. Yep, discover. Well, I'm a little bit sick of saying that now, but hopefully that'll help you win the contest. But anyways, it's our least favorite time, your least favorite time. Time for you to get on with your lives, us to get on with our lives. And in the meantime, don't forget to get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others into the geek fold. We will catch y'all on the flip side. Gamer Leaf out.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.